Hello everyone. So in this video, we are going to discuss the editorial of Indian Express. Now, this is about the government support to its farmers in USA and in India. So now let's try to understand this entire issue. See, this is USA, this is India. As far as US-India trade is concerned, there is a trade surplus for India and there is a trade deficit for US. Trade surplus means India export more than what it import from US. If it is trade surplus for India, by default, it is going to be trade deficit for USA. That simply means US import more from India than what it exports to India. Okay, because of that, there is a trade deficit. Now, soon after election, the Trump has announced that he is going to impose tariff on those countries with which it have trade deficit. Okay, and that is why the trade agreement between India and USA is being discussed. So basically, in that trade agreement, the focus is on agriculture sector. Now, this particular article highlights the consequences of inclusion of agriculture into this trade agreement. Now, let's try to understand that. For example, if we talk about USA, in case of US, there are 1.8 million family farms. 1.8. In case of India, there are 93 million agricultural household. 1.8 million and 93 million. That's first thing you need to keep in mind. Now, understand the per capita income. Per capita means per person income in USA is roughly $80,000. In India, the per capita income is roughly 2,600. Understand the difference in per capita income. Now, the interesting part is that the per capita income of these family farms, that is $97,000, which is higher than the average per capita income in USA. So now you can understand the situation of farmers of USA. So in case of USA, the farmers are not so vulnerable. In case of India, the farmers are quite vulnerable. Okay. Even then, even after that, there is a problem. Problem is the amount of government support received by the farmers. In case of USA, the farmers in US receive direct benefit transfer, and majorly these benefits are transferred in these two forms. A, price loss coverage. Price loss coverage basically means if there is too much downfall in the price in the market, then the government of US will directly transfer money in the farmer's account. In a very simple sense, let's say the expected price was 100 and now it is 90. So how much is the difference? That is 10 rupee. This will be transferred in the account of farmer. There won't be any physical procurement. Just like we have a procurement in the form of MSP, and this procurement is handled by FCI, that is Food Corporation of India. Second type of support is agriculture risk coverage. Let's say the expected yield from per hectare, I'm oversimplifying, expected yield from per hectare is 1000 and the actual yield is only 900. How much is the difference? 100. If there is difference, this difference will be transferred by the government to the farm. So this is how the farmers in US receive government support. In case of India, farmers receive support in the form of different type of subsidies. For example, under PM Kisan, farmers receive 6,000 rupees per annum. Then there is a fertilizer subsidy, crop insurance, etc. Now, understand the overall financial support by the federal government in USA is roughly $32 billion. In case of India, the overall financial support is roughly $57.5 billion or roughly 5 lakh crore. Now, if we see in terms of overall amount, of course, Indian farmers receive higher support. How much higher? Indian farmers receive $57 billion of financial support. US farmers receive $32 billion. But the problem is it is for 1.8 million farm household. This one is for 93 million farm household. So as for this article, in a very simple sense, the per capita basically means per person, per capita support in USA, that means to the farmers in USA is way higher than the farmers in India. So if we will open our agriculture sector for US products, because of the support from the government, the US products will be relatively cheaper and therefore there will be risk of import flood in Indian market. Import flood means what? In a very simple sense, the agricultural products of USA will be dumped into Indian market if India will allow opening of its agricultural market for US products. So this particular article highlight the consequences of opening our agricultural market for US products. Why there is a problem? Because the per capita support received by the farmer in US is way higher than the per capita support received by the farmers in India. That's why there is a problem. Thank you, and that's all for the day.